You're listening to the Persistence Mastery Podcast to give your communication skills the clarity edge with your host, Paul Leon.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This episode is going to be a lot of fun and it's something I really enjoy because even though this is going to be focused more in sales subject matter, it's going to really translate well to your communication skills. There's going to be a lot of transferable language that will help you even if you're not in sales. So with that said, this episode is on words matter in sales. And when we think about our customers, we think about what words we want to say, what words define our business and define our processes. However, customers don't really care about your business and they don't really care about your process. They care about themselves and they care about what they want at the end of the day. So, what we're going to do and focus on in this episode is what words that we typically use in a consultative selling process that if we start to replace them with similar words, we'll start to gather more influence in the consultative selling process. So, let's jump right into the content. The first word is contract. We tend to use this word a lot. Here's our contract, and this is our tie down contract. You want to take that word and replace it with something a little more positive. And when customers hear the word contract, their ears perk up or they feel they're tied down or there's no options for them. And although that's typically true when signing a contract, there are certain boundaries to keep customers honest. What you can do to move that contract more forward in the conversation and get a decision on yes or no, typically we want yes, is just replace the word contract with agreement. Say, hey, Mr. Customer, I want to ensure we're aligned. This is our agreement. When you sign this, it makes sure that we're going to deliver these results for your business. So replace the word contract with the word agreement to get a little more positive buy-in when doing consultative selling in your process. The second word, and this is a big one, is cost. Cost is associated with loss, and that's a really important saying that I think you should adopt today. Cost is associated with loss. When we get into cost, and the customer will typically associate that word with loss. And when people are losing something, it takes on a brand new value. Meaning, if they feel they're losing their money, they're going to hold on to it more. They're not going to want to let it go because it's going to take on a brand new value. What you want to do is replace the word cost, which is usually associated with loss, with the word invest. Invest is associated with gain, return, or results. Instead of saying, when you get to the proposal stage in a consultative process, instead of saying, hey, Mr. Customer, this is what it costs, simply replace the word cost with, hey, Mr. Customer, this is the investment, and these are the results you're going to get. In this investment, we're going to deliver these solutions for you. In this investment, you're going to see a return of this type of result in terms of time or future earnings down the road. When you can speak in terms of investment and future results, customers will then not associate the transaction with loss, they'll associate it with a return, a gain. And when you can associate gain in your consultative selling process, especially when you're getting to the proposal or quote stage, customers will let go of their money more because it starts to bring down those barriers. The next word we really want to avoid saying is problems. Well, here's the problem, Mr. Customer. Here's your problem. And the problem with saying problem is it tells the customer you're wrong or there's a challenge that is here and it almost seems insurmountable. We simply want to take the word problem and replace it with challenges. And when you can say challenges, challenges can be overcome. So, hey, Mr. Customer, here are some challenges we're finding. Regardless, here's how we're going to overcome those challenges in this process. This happens a lot with home improvement projects where there's some unexpected costs or needed investment from the customer further that you didn't find in the beginning. But instead of calling them problems, creating conflict, or having the customer doubt you, just say there are some challenges And ensure that when you use that word, find ways that you can overcome it as well. The next word is cheap. And when I say cheap, it's kind of like saying free. You don't want to say cheap in a consultative selling process. You want to say affordable. So let's say you're selling a service where you can finance for a monthly payment to make it cheaper. Well, what happens is when you use the word cheaper, the customer assumes the quality or value of what you're offering is probably not as effective, and it can start to make them question you and should they go elsewhere or at least consult with your competitors. Simply replace the word cheap with affordable. Here are some affordable options for you. These are typically more obtainable in terms of affordability. The next word, and this is one we use a lot or we face a lot, especially in consultative selling, is objection. We don't want to use that word. Customers might use that word. They might say, I object. I have an objection. Or they may say it in a different way. How I handle the word objection in consultative selling is I just say concern. And I do that to kind of humanize the conversation. Well, I understand that you want to go with some of our competitors, but here's my concern for you. We've been in business for X amount of years, and we delivered X amount of results over this X amount of time. And my concern for you is if you go with a competitor, I'm not sure how good they'll deliver the results I have. I think it's important for you to keep shopping for other quotes if that's your prerogative or your priority. But my concern is that they won't deliver the results I have. And furthering this discussion further, if you are in a bidding war, here's something else you can do to really overcome that challenge. Simply tell the customer, hey, here's my concern. Everything I said before, but simply say, I'm okay being your number two option. That typically disarms them. And here's why. I'm okay being your number two option, Mr. Customer. And here's something else I'm going to offer you. Could I be a consultant to you as you're shopping for other quotes? I still would like to be a good reference point for you to help you. Because my concern is if you go with a competitor, unlike us, you may not get the results you're looking for out of this investment. The next word is customers. If you start to brag or talk about how all the customers you've served, well, here's all our customers. That individual or couple, whoever you're consultatively selling to, doesn't really care about your customers. It's good for reputation. It's good to show like possibly FOMO, but they care about what results did you give to those customers. So what you can say in replacement of customers is simply say, "Hey, Mr. Customer, here are people we've served. These are the people we've served in this area and gotten them XYZ results." So replace the word customers with people we serve because then it humanizes consultative selling. Remember this, consultative selling is when there's a priority on the subject matter expert via the person. The next word is features. Now, you will hear a lot in sales about features and benefits. Whatever feature you speak to, show the benefit. And that's fine if that works for you and it helps you mentally structure your conversation. In my experience, the less words, the better. So don't even say the word features. Simply combine the feature with the benefits. So instead of saying feature benefit, just say benefit number one and just say the feature and the benefit. Benefit number two. So, for example, if you're buying an EV charger, which is a big mega trend in our world today, you could just say, instead of saying feature one, just say benefit number one. The cord does this. Benefit number two. This EV charger is interchangeable with other EV products. So when you go to sell your house, it can work with future EVs. Simply eliminate the word feature and just say benefit, benefit, benefit. That way it doesn't distract from what you really want the customer to focus on. The next word is free. Don't say the word free. This is a word that a lot of salespeople, a lot of entrepreneurs will end up saying to try to capture. We have a free option. Here's something you get for free. I can give you a free consultation. Well, simply just say no fee. And here's why that's important, that distinction. When you say the word free, it starts to make you look cheap. It starts to also tell the customer that maybe you're desperate. And if customers feel a desperate salesperson, or they call it commission breath, what happens is they run away. My hope for you in using what you're using from this episode is you become a professional or consultative individual who doesn't sell from desperation, but really sells from inspiration. And the next word we want to focus on is change. This is a big one. If we say change, here's what's going to change for you. Customers don't like that either. And in fact, it's human nature that we really typically don't like change, because that can be pretty scary, because we become comfortable in our ways. We get set in our ways. So when we're trying to sell or influence a customer and we say, well, here are the changes you need to make, here are the changes that have to happen, what ends up hurting us is we send putting that customer on defense. Here's what you really want to replace the word change with is adjustment or improvement. Hey, Mr. Customer, it looks like based on what you want to adjust in this proposal, here's what will be the new investment for you. So instead of saying the word change, simply use that to say adjust. And here's another one, and this will be a really powerful one for you, is saying I think. And this is something that I have fallen in the trap to a lot, where I say, I think this or I think that. You want to have confidence. So simply replace the word I think with I'm confident. So if you think it's good for the customer, that's great. But simply take that thought and externally communicate is I'm confident that you will see this. I'm confident that this will be your outcome, as it's been for many of the people we serve when they invest in our services with us. Now, the next one, and this is going to get a little more into the weeds, but I think it's important for us to explore this, is if you offer a monthly promotion, that's great, but they don't really care about that monthly promotion that you're offering to everybody. People want something in it for them on an individual basis. And when you tell someone, this is our monthly promotion, here's our promotion, it's going to go away for everyone. Well, then you're kind of just putting them in the box with everyone else. And people want something more tailored. They want exclusivity. So when you can communicate your monthly promotion to just say, we have an exclusive offer for you that does expire at the end of the month. I'm not trying to close you. However, if you want to take advantage of this exclusive offer, make this investment and get these benefits from XYZ service, I think you'll see that you're going to get a pretty strong return on what you're looking for, Mr. Customer. So, again, this episode has been really focused on what words we want to use in consultative selling. And again, the whole intention here is not about manipulation. And this is something big, and this is more of an intent type thing, but it's important. And I'm confident that if you use what we've covered today in this episode, you replace the words such as contract with agreement, cost with investment, problems with challenges, you'll start to see some pretty positive communication with your customers and close more sales as a result, and drive more referrals when you adopt these improvements in your consultative selling process.
Thank you for listening to the Persistence Mastery Podcast. Subscribe to where you listen to podcasts. And if you want to hire Paul to train or speak for your team, visit persistencemastery.com and fill out the request training form.